YouTube, I just wanted to talk about today's state of play. This is meant to be like a ranty, bitchy video, but I just want to give my thoughts, my dudes. We had a surprise state of play, right? This came out of nowhere. This was revealed, I think, yesterday, maybe the day before. It wasn't hyped up. They were just like, we're going to do a state of play. And for that reason, I didn't upload yesterday, because I assumed, I put on the clown makeup myself. I stared in the mirror, put on the fucking big red nose, and told myself, maybe there's going to be something here today. And I want to be clear here, I'm not talking about Remake. I know there's people out there that are always hyping that up for every event. I'm conscious of the fact that Remake is not even 2 years old yet. We still have like another month to go before it's 2 years old. So I don't expect to ever see that game. We're talking about 16. 16 is the main one here. This is what everybody's anticipating with every one of these state of plays. Hell, we had a state of play last month in February 7th, if I'm not mistaken. And how do we still have nothing for 16? I cannot wrap my mind around it. It's not even like funny to talk about anymore. It's almost sad. Like, what are we doing? And look, I know the logic they've been using lately or whatever is that they don't want to show the game until it's ready to like be close to release or whatever the case. I get that, I understand that, and that's fair, but at the same time, if that's the case, why reveal the game at all? Why reveal it back in like 2020? It's just another case of Square Enix revealing a game before it's ready. I think I said this last time, like a month ago when we bitched about the last state of play. It gives me Remake vibes, dude, because back in 2015, the game was revealed with a teaser, and then we actually got actual gameplay later in 2015, December 2015 with the PlayStation Experience or whatever. They had actual gameplay for Remake back then, so it's like, damn, this game must be far along, and then we didn't get shit till 2019, and then the game released 2020, so I'm not saying it's going to take 3 or 4 or 5 years for 16 to come out, but it's already been a year and a half, we don't even have a second trailer yet. In hindsight being what it is, it probably would have been better for them to just never reveal this game, because now that's all people talk about, right? Every time there's a new state of play or any sort of PlayStation event, people are looking forward to this, and when they don't deliver, people bitch like I'm doing now. And state of play is not just about Final Fantasy and Square Enix, but they're the ones who are making 7 Remake and 16 PlayStation exclusives, so when there's a PlayStation event, we're looking forward to these games, and they're not delivering. And again, I completely understand the logic of wanting to talk about the game whenever it's closer to release, but I would rather have something than nothing. Like, at this point, again, we've had nothing, dude. There's no way, if they're actively developing and creating this game, that there's not more to show. You can just show another minute-long teaser. It ain't gotta be a 4 or 5 minute trailer like this one. Just give us a little bit more gameplay. Maybe reveal a new character. You don't have to show their name or tell their name. Just show us a new character, a new boss fight, a new random enemy. Something. Part of that's gotta be the development crossover with 14 and 16. Yoshi P's making both of these. I don't know the development teams exactly. It's definitely not like a 1-to-1. It's not the exact same people making 14 are also making 16. But there's really no winning regardless of what it is, because either there's too much crossover between development teams and that's what's taken so long, so why would they do that? That's on them. Or 16 has an almost entirely independent team developing it, then what's taking so long? If there's not too much crossover, y'all are only making 16, why do we have nothing now? Again, a game just being revealed too early. I should have done this earlier in the video, but fuck it, we'll do it here. This is the breakdown of the state of play. The bold titles are the new reveals. We had Exoprimal, Ghostwire Tokyo, Stranger Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, a new demo revealed. Forspoken, Gundam Evolution, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabunga Collection, Gigabash, Trek to Yomi, I think I say that, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, All-Star Battle R, Returnal Ascension, The Dio-Filled Chronicle, and Valkyrie Elysium. For one, if you look at that list, it's an exact 50-50 ratio of new reveals and old shit. So you could, by the mathematics of that, half of what was at this event is fucking pointless. The only thing that really stands out to me is maybe the Stranger Paradise demo, because I missed out on that previous demo or beta or whatever it was, so now I can actually play the game. I kind of want to get it, mostly because there's locations around that game that are from previous Final Fantasies. I know there's like a location that's like the inside of a reactor for FF7. I know there's like a Mount Gagazet Final Fantasy X location. Stuff like that. That's kind of cool and interesting. The gameplay looks fun. I'm definitely downloading the demo. We'll probably do some sort of like a review type thing for it, just because I have not experienced this game yet. I know very little about it. Like, I know the basics of the story. I know there's different kinds of weapons you can use. Final Fantasy 1. I know there's all the locations you can go to from other like Final Fantasy games. And that's about all I know. So we'll talk about this game after I play the demo. But to be honest, like, the reveal of a new demo for this is probably the biggest reveal from this event for me, that or like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collection. And let's be honest, that's a pretty low bar. These are like 20, 30-year-old games or some shit that I'm more looking forward to than some of the new shit that was shown. And look, I am looking forward to 16. It's a new numbered entry. I've played pretty much every numbered entry in the Final Fantasy series and a lot of the spin-offs and shit. So, of course, I'm always excited for that. But at the same time, there's so much unknown about the game that I'm not like somebody that's chomping at the bit specifically for it. I'm more so wanting them to talk about the game for other people, for everybody, for the community, people that are looking forward to this game. Because me personally, I'm going to get it regardless, obviously, again, a numbered entry. But I still want to know more about it. I'm looking forward to it more now than I was before, simply because I have a PS5 now. Beforehand, we still did videos on it occasionally. but I theoretically at the time could never play the fucking game because it was PS5 exclusive. But we can even put aside the Final Fantasy XVI discussion. We also have the potential Final Fantasy IX remake and the Tactics remaster. Now those games may or may not exist, but a lot of us seem to believe that they do, right? That they're going to come out eventually, or they exist in some capacity. But here recently, Square Enix has dropped multiple tactical RPGs with Triangle Strategy, which, I didn't know anything about that game, so when they showed a trailer for it last month that, was it Square Enix Presents or a State of Play, one of those, that's what I thought it was. It's like, game looks pretty much like, Final Fantasy Tactics, and then it was Triangle Strategy, and I was like, oh, okay. And then today we have Diofield Chronicle, which I thought, again, maybe this is a Final Fantasy Tactics game. It definitely isn't a remaster of the original Final Fantasy Tactics because it doesn't look anything like it. But maybe instead of the rumor of a remaster, maybe it's a brand new Tactics game. It's been a long time since they made one of those. They even have a dragon that attacks the battlefield at one point that looks a lot like Bahamut. They even zoom out from the battlefield and you're fighting on an island that's floating in an abyss, which is exactly what Tactics looks like. And then no, it's just the Diofield Chronicle. And look, I'm not trying to shit on these games. I'm sure they're great. They're made by teams of people that are passionate about them. I'm not saying the games are bad, but the point is that Square Enix is putting out these other tactical RPGs when they already have a series of tactical games with the Final Fantasy franchise that would sell infinitely better. If they announced a new Tactics game, it would sell better than Triangle Strategy or this Diofield Chronicle. It just absolutely would, especially because there hasn't been one in a long time. They already have 4 games in it, right? They have the original Tactics, the War of the Lions, remake / remaster type thing for PSP. Then they have Tactics Advance, and then the sequel to that on DS, I think it was. They already have 4 games in that franchise, and they haven't revisited it in such a long time. And they're gonna make these games that are, they're almost exact copies of Tactics, right? Triangle Strategy and the Diofield Chronicle is a little bit different. It's like a real-time strategy game, but still, they're pretty much the same. So why not just make a new Tactics? It just doesn't make any sense. Ultimately, when it comes to events like this, like State of Play, where you have exclusively for your brand, the PlayStation brand, that you want people to tune into to watch the new games coming up, you gotta have big reveals. And when half of the games that you show are already revealed games, they're just new trailers or maybe even old trailers, or they're new games that aren't really big releases, it doesn't make me want to tune in. Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if going forward if I want to tune into the next State of Play, because it's probably just gonna be the same shit again, right? Half the trailers we got today, we're gonna see at the next State of Play. Look, I'm not saying that every single State of Play has to have some sort of groundbreaking world reveal game, but I feel like the last several State of Plays, and even Square Enix Presents, since we're mostly talking about Square Enix here, just haven't really had anything major to talk about. No sort of big reveals, so it's what's really the point? What are you trying to showcase these games for? Because you're just letting people down, because people are tuning into these things, specifically right now for Final Fantasy XVI, and you're not delivering, so you're just pissing people off. Look, I know it's kind of a ranty, bitchy video. It's not what I was planning on putting out today. I was kind of hoping that today would be a more positive video. I was hoping to have something interesting to talk about from State of Play. I'm just going to be honest. I don't know that I'm going to tune into these things, dude. They're usually 30 minutes to an hour long, depending on whether it's a Square Enix Presents or a State of Play. They can be upwards of an hour, and it's why would I want to sit there and waste my time watching that for a bunch of games that I'm not going to buy? A bunch of games that I personally don't care about, I know there's an audience for all these games, but the majority of us are tuning in for Final Fantasy, and they're continuously not delivering, and it's just kind of a letdown. And I could be doing something else for that 30 minutes. But the other reason for wanting to make this video is because I want to kind of get your guys' thoughts on this as well. Is it even worth tuning into these anymore, man? Because I feel like we could all just save our time and just catch it afterwards, right? Let the live stream happen and just get the updates afterwards, the articles that cover it and tell you everything that happened. In that 30 minute to an hour window, man, I could be doing other shit. I could be working out, I could be working on YouTube videos, I could be running errands, I could be doing all kinds of other shit. Instead of setting aside this half an hour to an hour to watch this stuff that ultimately isn't worth it. My dudes, that's going to be the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys aren't want to see more Final Fantasy XVI content, whenever that's ever possible, within, hopefully, the next year. I don't know. It may never happen. Is this game even real? Turn on notifications. Follow me on Twitter, @YT. I'm a Discord. Links to start in the description. Into the outro. Later, guys.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Rogaine, or leave it like Cobain.